Hi there. We're continuing our journey through the Psalms, the Tehillim, that means the praises in Hebrew, and today we're in Psalm 139. In the Hebrew letter numbering system, that's Psalm Kuf, Lamed, Tet. Kuf is 100, Lamed is 30, and Tet is 9, 139. And this has a superscription, this psalm, it's one we met before, but it says Lamnatseach, to the chief choir master, to the worship leader. It's Le David, it's a Davidic psalm, and it's a mizmor, it's a musical composition. It's one of the most intimate of all the psalms. It really talks about God's intimate relationship, the deepest relationship that God can have with a person, how he sees into us, and also how that there's no running away from him, there's no hiding from him. So the psalmist starts off by saying, Adonai hakarteni Vateda, you've searched me, you've gone deep into my deepest places with your microscope, as it were, and you know me. You know everything I do. From far away, mirachok, even from a distance, you know what's going on. Even if I think there's a distance between us, you know all my thoughts. You see me, you know whether I'm getting up or lying down, you know whether I'm working, resting, you know all of my actions. And even before I talk, even before a word is Belashoni, you know what is there. You know it all together. You already know what I'm going to say. This amazing intimacy, this amazing fact that God knows us and that he surrounds us. Achor v'kedem, behind and before. Satani, you hem me in. It's a very powerful word. You come around me. You are all around me. You hem me in and you protect me with your hand. Kapecha. Your hand is upon me. You are protecting me all the time, and your knowledge of me is nifla. It's a wonderful knowledge that you have of me. It's too wonderful for me to really understand. It's so powerful, God, that you're constantly thinking about me. And then there's this question: Ana elech miruchecha. Where can I go from your ruach, from your spirit, from your breath? How can I get away from your spirit? It's everywhere. And where will I get away from your presence? From mipanecha, that's your face. Panecha we translate it so often in English as presence, but the word in Hebrew is panecha, your face, your person. Where I can't get away from your person. Maybe this is a cry of someone who's trying to get away from God's presence, or he feels so watched by God, so cared for by God, or it's someone who's saying, I'd really like to get away from you, but I can't find the way to go to. If I go up to heaven, Shamayim, if I go up to heaven, you're there, Sham, Ata. You're even there in heaven, but you're also down in the Sheol, which is the place of the dead. You are in the place below. There's no escaping for you. Even if I die, I'm not getting away from you, God, because you're there as well. If I go on the wings of the morning, beautiful phrase, Kanfesh Shachar, the wings of the dawn. If I go as far as I can to the horizon where the dawn comes up, or if I live in the furthest place, maybe in the sea, and of course that's in the opposite because the dawn comes up on the east, the sea is on the west in terms of Israel. So it's saying whether I go to the furthest place in the east or the furthest place in the west, you are there. You would lead me and you will help me. I'm relying on your right hand, Yuminecha, to guide me. And then he says, and I could say to the darkness, a choshek, will you hide me and let the light round me become night. And then the singer says, but it doesn't matter because night and day are the same to you. God, you don't have day and night. Everything, you created it after all. You made the light and the darkness. You made the day and the night. They're the same to you. It's a powerful thing that when we find ourselves in dark places, we can know that the darkness is not dark to God because he watches over us. And then he turns inward, he looks at his own person. The singer says, you created every part of me. Ki ata kaniti, every bit of me, you created me. And you put me together in my mother's womb, baveten in me, in the inner part of my mother, in the depths of my mother. I praise you because you are amazingly, fearfully, wonderfully made. and I know it with all my heart. He's recognizing the wonderful fact of his creation, of his own putting together. When his bones were being formed in his mother's womb, he knew, God knew, even before we know ourselves, God knows us. Before we're born, he knows the days that are given to us. He says, the singer says, they're recorded in your book. You put them in your record, Sefrecha, Kulam, Yiktavu. You've written them all in your book. God, how amazing are your thoughts towards me? How precious, how precious are your thoughts towards me? How many of them there are? If I counted them, they would be like the sand on the beach. And when I wake, I'm still with you. That picture of us waking up and God waiting to be with us. That when we're asleep, we're not even far from God when we're asleep, but when we wake up, there is God waiting to be with us. And then the singer turns a little bit towards the end of this psalm and he says, Lord, I just want to be finished with wickedness. I want to be finished with those who are just interested in trouble. I wish that violent people would go away from me. They're distracting me from who you are. Maybe this is part of why the psalmist is saying, I want to run away. I won't even get away from God because he's in a troubled place. He says, I hate those who hate you, God. I despise those who rebel against you. He says, I hate them with a complete hatred. That doesn't sound very scriptural, does it? To hate someone with a perfect hatred. But in terms of the distraction that they're being from God, it says, I regard them as my enemies. They're taking him away from God. And then maybe the singer comes back after that little tirade that he's just said. Maybe he comes back to himself at the end of the psalm and settles a bit as he says, in fact, it's how he started off. He started off the psalm by saying, Lord, you have examined me. And at the end of the psalm, he says, okay, God, Hakreni, search me, Lord. Test me again, God. Know my mind. Test me. Know my thoughts. Find out if there's any derech hatsev, it says. And derech hatsev is an interesting one because hatsev is an idol. It's the word for an image, a false image. And he's basically saying, often translations have, see if there's any wicked way or false way in me, but actually it's also, see if there's any idols there. See if there are any rivals to your throne, anything that needs to be taken out. And guide me in the derech olam, in the way that leads to life unlimited. Take away the idols, the things that set themselves up in my life that would pull me away from you and lead me in your amazing way, which goes to life without limit. What an amazing psalm this is. So intimate, so deep, so real. But at the end, maybe we can say with the psalmist to the Lord, Lord, examine me afresh, look into my heart, see if there's anything to rival you, and instead take that away and lead me in the way to life unlimited. Have a good day.